One of the greatest highlights is to just see who's in the room. It's so wonderful and so rare, sadly, to see academics and scholars and researchers along with community leaders, movement leaders from the EJ and CJ community, indigenous leaders, Black leaders, and government officials, folks actually senior in federal funding, philanthropic leaders. So rare to see a thoughtfully curated group that's actually having a conversation that's about centering justice and actually thinking about how to do better.
One thing I really appreciated about this conference is it invited community partners, because so often it's just the academics and the funders in the room being like, this is what we think and this is what our partners, versus like partners being like, look, this is what I think and these are my words.
And this symposium was food for my soul, because you're able to see each other's humanity and able to see people also fighting like you're fighting. You know, there's powers in numbers, right? There's power in the same struggle. There's power in those victories. And they'll say, hey, we won here. Here's what you can do. Maybe it won't always fit right, but you can try to transfer, replicate, scale up what folks have done in another part of the country.
A lot of what I've heard here at the symposium says to me that we've been doing some good things. We're doing the right things.
It's been an amazing journey the last couple of years, seeing environmental justice get elevated at a national level, hearing the words environmental justice coming out of a presidential candidate who went on to become our president, hearing it at every level, you know, people who have never thought about environmental justice really embracing it, and seeing a racial reckoning across the world, not just in the United States.
I'm excited to see what's happening right now with the government and the IRA, and looking at it in the U.S., the amount of money that's flowing out of the federal government and state government, how we can be creative.
A lot of great things that have been happening, and there's a lot of bad things that are also slated to come to our communities if we're not paying attention.
I would say we've started and done really good science and work that matters, but it's not going far enough. And it still suffers to some degree from the idea that expert knowledge is held in certain places and is not picking up on community-based knowledge.
What's happening is you can't have folks coming to this space who didn't do EJ getting funding. We're basically selling out the movement for folks who are getting funded who are not part of the movement, who haven't been doing the work. That's the exact opposite of environmental justice.
Greenwashing is easy, and it takes academic institutions like the Tishman Center to stand up and stand with us on what might look like the outsider, you know, but we've shown that from outsiders, we can become insiders, right? And we can change the narrative and the conversation that's happening at the national level.
The way we can connect social and political thought and the community around what's happening with the environment as climate change, but also as it relates to people's livelihoods and how we need to think about people as part of the environment and not as isolated from it.
This work is really hard, and we're in an incredibly tough moment in the world right now. And the fact that we make space for joy and connection and eating great food and dancing to drums. And the symposium just created an amazing space for the whole person.